And we're off to the races. We have Series Station, the Blue Room. I always love how all the colors in Super Metroid give like each space in the game its own kind of atmosphere. If you're looking up and it says invitation pending, if you're looking at brackets, maybe they didn't accept the challenge invitation. I have no idea. But they're all in the tournament. It's going to be really exciting. Looks like Spiffy might have forgot to turn off notifications. That's okay. We just might have to roast him a little bit here and there for that. Eddie, quite an outstanding runner of SM, known for using his hitbox. You can see Eddie has a real chilled and relaxed pose while running Super Metroid. Spiffy, I am not as familiar with. I feel like Spiffy might have started in Rando and then made his way to the speedrunning world, so I'll be super excited to see what route he chooses to run and how he plays. A little bit more familiar with Eddie. Eddie, with being known as an extremely good any percent runner, outstanding hundo runner, very good at arcade, very good at randos. I mean, Eddie can pretty much do it all. I sound younger. Hey, it might be the hype of the race war, or it just may be that my life has only changed for the better in the last 2 months. So either way, I'm super excited to be talking to all of you. We got a 45 for Eddie, a 44 for Spiffy right there. So really good series times for a race. Yeah, Eddie can play this game on keyboard, on hitbox, and on controller. Eddie is so sick that I believe Eddie can play, has a 42 with a controller and a 41 with a hitbox. So again, when I say that Eddie can do it all, Eddie can do it all. I don't know. I look there and I if I tried a keyboard or a hitbox, I would probably die on the way to BT. I am a very old school gamer. I'm in my 40s. I play with a controller. I don't even know how to use a keyboard for anything other than typing up emails. So, and that's only because I have to do that for my job. So, I'm impressed with Eddie. I think Eddie could play blindfolded, but maybe not as good as Punk. But anyways, here we go. We got a nice Polar Moonfall from Spiffy, so definitely knows some really sick tech right there. I am not a Moonfaller. I do not enable it, but I think it's really, really cool tech anyways to see. I have a feeling, worst rap Mando, worst map rando. I am a huge vanilla fan, a huge supporter of the vanilla game, so that's what we're going to have here. All the items are going to be where we know they are, where we know them to be, and our runners are going to pick up as few items as possible to finish the game, as few as they need. There are 3 main routes that are run pretty regularly, and a 4th any percent route that you don't see as often. A lot of runners will go Fantoon first and do Fantoon, Ridley, Kraid, Dragon, or they'll go Picard, Fantoon, Kraid, Ridley, Dragon. The other popular route is KPDR, where you do Kraid first. If one of our runners happens to do that, we'll talk about the difference. If not, it'll be irrelevant. And then there's the hybrid route where you still pick up Plasma Beam, but you go Fantoon first. You just kind of go to Meridia early. So I don't know. We'll see what our runners run. This game is very accessible and has a lot of options to get through it, and any percent is exactly what it is. If one of these runners decided to be crazy and just wanted to run 100%, well, you could. If they wanted to run RBO, well, you could. But we're trying to go fast, and when you're going against a runner like Eddie who can put up a 41, like, you should probably, not meme and just hope for the best. Now, I will say, Eddie is the kind of runner, just watching from the qualifiers and watching from some tournaments I've seen Eddie in, I don't know that Eddie gets safeties. Like, I just have seen Eddie kind of be a very volatile runner and take a lot of deaths in Lower Norfair. I don't want to say that that's going to happen right now. But if I'm SpiffyThomas going against somebody like Eddie, I would be banking on some of that more aggressive play that you see from Eddie here. But no matter who you are, if you're in this tournament, you are pretty darn good at this game. Eddie would be one of the higher seeded runners, I think, and we're doing a Swiss seeding format. So If we took 32 runners, the first seed would race to 32, the second runner would race to 31, and so on and so forth. So that's how seeding works for this. And chat can definitely pull up anything that I am missing, because I have already done commentary once today. I have 2 tomorrow. I don't want to get it all out right now. And I don't know who we have in the chat. So whatever I miss here, chat, please let me know. You know, if I miss tech, call out tech. If I miss lore, call out lore. If I miss something cool a runner did, like Eddie doing a right side Alcatraz right there, maybe you can tell the people in chat why right side Alcatraz is so cool and why we don't see it that often. And yes, Eddie will be chatting while running. That's, you know, that's Eddie's MO. We have a lot of runners that are known for doing that. MM2, Eddie, Nepti, you know. Yeah, as soon as Jestro is done helping us with the restream here, Jestro will be tracking one of our rando races coming up. So anybody used to seeing a tracker, we do not use those for the vanilla game, because it does not matter what items they pick up. It really matters if they live or die and who goes faster. I think Eddie's just going to be really happy that we're not going into the Golden Chorizo room, so we can't see an accidental GT code in this race. No, I love watching it. It's kind of like the more involved in the game you are, the more fun it gets to watch. Look at Spiffy right there. Honestly, just that little shot right there, that angle shot on that missile door is actually really incredible, and a really nice deboost off the waiver right there. So, you know, you're taking a look at this. Spiffy, really, really good. Like, Eddie's ahead right now. Eddie, what are you doing, Eddie? Are you going to do... It looked like Eddie was gonna troll us and set up for a moon dance here, so I'm not really quite sure what Eddie's doing here. Maybe trying to farm here, because I didn't happen to notice the pirates. Spiffy has kind of full energy, so I wonder if Spiffy's gonna do Fantoon first. Our last race we had a KPDR versus a PRKD, so I actually would not mind seeing a Fantoon first route from both of our runners and see how they stack up. You know, but isn't that the way when you try to take a safety in race, you know, and you end up like blowing it because you're not used to playing that way? Like, I think sometimes in a race it's better to just go with what you're used to than try to, you know, play conservatively. Well, I know for sure Eddie's doing Fantoon first. I know who Spiffy is just based on looking for Super Metroid streams, but I've actually never seen him run. So, you know, if I don't shout out Spiffy enough, it's not because I don't want to give him attention. It's just that I'm not as familiar, and I don't want to say something like boneheaded. Eddie getting that nice hero shot right there, getting up red tower in one try. And Spiffy is going Fantoon first. If you don't see that mock ball, that's usually an indication if you missed the green pirate shaft. So good, double Fantoon first. I love it. Now, the significance with that is that neither of our runners are going to have the Varia suit. So Fantoon is going to be doing about 40 damage a pop. And then later when we go into bowling, the spikes are going to do about 60 damage per hit. So our runners are conserving energy to make sure they have a good deal of it going into wrecked ship, because it is way more dangerous than people familiar with KPDR. And the entire route for that, for what really amounts to basically about a 90-second time save for those that are good enough, the volatility of Fantoon first runs versus KPDR is just, you know, it's absolutely way more dangerous. So if you want to get that time save, you have to be a much more risky of a runner. You need to be more interested in riskier strats. You need more interested in, you know, having some technical prowess. Is not only are the routes themselves more difficult, but the boss fights are way more challenging just based on the damage output you have going into those rooms. There will be no capability for Fantoon X Factor strats here because we do not have Wave Beam yet. We have to get across the moat in a much different way. Eddie's showing that HBJ very good. SpiffyThomas not getting the CWJ frame, so gonna have to set up for the HBJ. Like, there's just so much going on already. This is ridiculous. If I'm in SpiffyThomas spot right now, I'm mad because I cannot do a reliable HBJ. I have to make sure I get that frame for the CWJ. So Spiffy having a little trouble in the moat. Absolutely looks like he knows what he's doing when it comes to the HBJ. So let's see if we get a CWJ attempt here. It is. Oh, no. Just hit jump. Maybe a little bit too late. Does not get it, even though we got the frame. So come on, Spiffy. You can do this. And even though it looks like Spiffy is quite a bit behind right now, Fantoon can completely change this right now. As I'm telling you, not only have I seen Eddie die to Fantoon before, Fantoon could just give bad patterns. And SpiffyThomas is across. I mean, if Eddie gets a couple slows, has a rough Fantoon, this could bring Spiffy, you know, much closer right now. So that sucks, but it's not like, it's not tragic. Eddie proven again just what a marksman he is. And look at those air Dopplers. I think that was like, was that 6 or 7 missiles? Looking like we're going to get a very solid 2-round, and boom, just like that. Wow, Eddie putting on a clinic. I don't know. Did he get a fast? I don't know. That was a very sick Fantoon, and those air Dopplers are super hard. You have to, like, usually Fantoon will go off if you do, you know, will go off screen if you do enough damage. So keeping Fantoon on screen and still getting all those missiles in requires like Doppler strats where you have to kind of move in toward Fantoon while you're shooting so that you're hitting it. It's just like, it's complicated. Let's just say Eddie did it absolutely very well. And Spiffy actually pulling a good Doppler there, but started too early, missed a missile, and took damage. Can take 2 more hits from Fantoon. The third one will kill. So not getting luck with energy drop. So hold. We got 1 more hit to give. That's not good. Okay, Spiffy, come on, Fantoon, be a pal. Slow, give it a slow so we can farm some drops. Okay, all right. Don't be mad, Spiffy. That will help you survive. Come on, you can do this. Heckin' Fantoon getting flame lamed is always a pain. But I believe. I know Eddie's still playing, but I'm like holding my breath. I'm very scared. All right, so good thing Spiffy was counting his missiles, was able to get Fantoon down without an enrage with that super, and survived. So, like, I don't care what happens here. You survive Fantoon in a race, you just walk away happy, you know? I didn't see how sick Eddie's wreck ship was, but I'm assuming it was great because Eddie is always good there, and we're going to get like around a 1330, 1340 gravity pickup here. So really solid play from Eddie. Spiffy going to pick up these super missiles, and we will see, you know, hopefully the exact same kind of luck here. Yeah, getting a lot of health, I think, in this route is kind of what you want. Because you don't want to slow down having to farm health going into bowling, and you need to have at minimum 121 to survive bowling. So it can be frustrating with that kind of Fantoon, but at least Spiffy minus power bombs has really good resources. Eddie looking really, really good. Three power bombs right where Eddie is actually very good. Spiffy is most likely going to have to farm power bombs going down Red Tower. I don't think Eddie's going to have to. Yeah, this is not randomizer, everybody. I will tell you, the runners are going to be picking up the exact same item set. They already have Charge Beam. So after Gravity Suit, our next pickup is going to be Spazer. Our runners are only going to be picking up 3 or 4 E-Tanks. We're going to see 20 to 25 missiles and only 10 super missiles and 1 power bomb pack. And that is all our runners are going to pick up. Really, really exceptional D-boost there from SpiffyThomas, showing a really, really great bowling. Really, really decent wreck ship. I know it can be hard to take Fantoon patterns like that. It can be really frustrating, but honestly, racing against a runner like Eddie, I would just do my best to try to survive and hope Eddie makes a mistake. Eddie is definitely known. Wow, what a really good backup scree boost off the second scree. I don't know. I have never. I don't watch Eddie a lot, but I have watched every vanilla tournament Eddie has played in, and I don't see Eddie ever play any way but like absolutely aggressive as hell. So if I was Spiffy, I would just relax, try to survive, and hope that Eddie does something crazy like not pick up the Ridley tank, try to get out of lower Norfair. I mean, I don't see that as a comms curse. It's just like literal fact. Eddie plays absolutely crazy and, something to the wall, and Spiffy is behind, just survive and has a really good chance here. Yeah, Eddie kind of reminds me of Susreem a little bit. Not in style of play. Their strat choices, I feel, are like completely different. But Eddie does a lot of what seems to be a lot of like strats that you don't see from a lot of other runners. But not only that, but just has an absolutely gutsy play style. Like runners like Susreem and MM2 Nest Cartridge are among some of the most aggressive racers out there. And then, of course, you have Oates and Zost and Zenny, who are always like top tier. I mean, let's just say the entire tournament, you're going to see absolute insane play. Spiffy, I guess, doesn't want to farm. I guess that power bomb is not as necessary coming through Red Tower as it is in KPDR, but I would have liked to have seen Spiffy farm it. Spiffy can get power bombs from Kraid if he decides to go Kraid second, like Eddie is doing. I got to be honest, I really thought Eddie was going to go PRKD. But since Eddie can literally do anything, I'm sure, this kind of a safety is not a bad idea. Gravity suit, we don't need to worry too much about taking damage from Kraid, but, let's not force it, Eddie, I mean, it is giving Spiffy time to catch up. I'm saying, Spiffy frustrated right there. Unfortunately, not breaking the tube. Now, the other place as well. So not only can you get powerbomb drops from Kraid, as we saw Eddie get, if either runner decides to get the Kraid tank, you can get powerbomb drops there. Also, the Deskigas in Pre-Cathedral will also reliably drop powerbombs. So it's not as bad in Picard as PRKD or KPDR as far as needing power bombs right here. Yeah, I don't think Eddie has ever not, killed Kraid with Kraid quick kill. That's never happened. I really think it is interesting, honestly, to see Kraid tank right here. I guess you might as well get it. Is it same as Ridley tank, or is it slower than Ridley tank? I don't know. It's a good safety. I don't get it, but I'm also not as fast as either of these runners, so whatever. To be honest, early in the tournament, I like this safety from Eddie, getting the Kraid tank and doing Picard. I like the fact that both of our runners are doing Picard. I wonder if Eddie knew that and is just paying Spiffy a solid, but look at that business center from Eddie. The first runner I personally saw do that super shot on that on the ice beam door before going down was Cutie. I saw Oates do it earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. It saves a little bit of time supering that door right there, because our runners are going to pick up ice beam after high jump boots. You need to pick up ice beam after high jump boots and Spazer in this route to make the Ridley fight, as fast as it needs to be for this particular route. Were our runners not to pick up ice beam, it would change the Ridley fight from a 60 beam shot fight to an 80 or 90 beam fight. I don't know. Spazer is the bad math beam, so somebody can correct me there. And then we got Spiffy picking up the Kraid tank too, so survivability is something both of our runners seem very, very interested in this run so far. I love, by the way, the webcams. Like, more runners. I know some people don't like to be, you know, physically doxxed, or some people, you know, just don't want to show their faces and all that. But I absolutely, oh, look at Spiffy pulling out the elite strats. That was gorgeous. An absolutely wonderful business center, same as Eddie. Nice ice escape setup from Eddie right there. I love watching these runners. Like, when you see them on stream like this, you can see their reactions to their strats. It can kind of give you a good indication whether our runners are having a good run or not. Sometimes just cool, just because, I don't know, I like watching reactions, period. You know, for a boomer, I like reactions quite a bit. Look at that down back from Spiffy coming out of high jump boots. I mean, Spiffy knows their stuff. I'm going to ignore you for a little bit right now, Eddie. I want to kind of pay attention to what Spiffy's doing. Like, I already know what you're going to do, you know. Is Spiffy going to mock ball through this door? Okay. All right. You got a mock ball here because you don't have speed booster yet. Eddie getting trolled by Bubble Mountain. I thought wall jumps were easy on Hitbox. Kappa. I mean, honestly, like, Spiffy is the underdog here, but you know, I wouldn't say Eddie would underestimate his opponent. I don't think Eddie is that kind of guy to, like, you know, do something like that. I don't know, but it just takes a lot of those little mistakes adding up. I mean, Spiffy is actually impressing me with, you know, I don't know how long they've been playing this game, but I know it's not as long as I have, and is just showing really, really great basics, really great tech, and I'm impressed. I don't think Eddie would throw the match, but, you know, maybe their hitbox. I don't know. I've definitely had runs before where I've just wanted to throw my controller at the screen. You know, one thing I like about having, one thing I like about having Ice Beam and Bubble Mountain is that you can generally back up Bubble Mountain really easy if it goes wrong. Unfortunately, Spiffy having a little bit more trouble in Bubble Mountain than Eddie did, but Eddie had trouble in Bubble Mountain too. It just kind of shows you that even the most innocuous room, like, to somebody who doesn't know this game, would be like, why is that room hard? Because you have to navigate crazy wall jumps and not get hit by enemies and not get knocked down. And, like, when you get past these enemies, you still have King Cac to contend with. And then you have these enemies that, like, oh, if I don't get this D boost, I lose time, and then I broke spin, and then life sucks. So in a lot of ways, those rooms that seem innocuous to the casual, to the speedrunner, are like, this is the hardest room ever. I would rather just be fighting Ridley right now. I hate Bubble Mountain. I hate it. And then, you know, I don't know what's worse than Bubble Mountain is double chamber. SpiffyThomas is going to be hitting double chamber pretty soon. Meanwhile, Eddie's setting up for this. Does not get the lava spark, but does get the boost off the Namahe and going for this gravity jump backup. And honestly, I don't know if Eddie is doing this gravity jump as a backup, or if just decided, you know, like, I don't want to do lava spark. I want to survive. I have no idea. So unlike the last race we see, both of our runners are going to have the same, essentially the same lower Norfair. Eddie's going to hopefully get this spark here for fast pillars. This spark is just way faster to get through the room. You can conserve power bombs. You don't have to worry about power bombs of shame. Worst room in the game. We're going to use iframes from the power bomb to wall jump off that pirate. Now you need a particular amount of speed. And, you know, the jump heights to lay that power bomb are all very accurate. Really, I think the only difference we're really seeing that I can see between the two runners is Eddie's backups just look a little bit more experienced. And I'm pretty sure that Eddie has logged more hours in the game, this particular game, than SpiffyThomas. Spiffy just a little bit behind, but, you know, still too early to call what kind of race it's going to be. But I do like seeing Eddie with 3 tanks in Lower Norfair with the option to pick up the Ridley tank, because the survivability goes up exponentially with 3 E-tanks versus 2 at this point, especially with the Varia suit pickup. Nice double Kago there from Eddie. Or maybe a double Kago. Honestly, I wasn't looking. I only saw the second one. I just assumed he got it because Eddie's goated. I don't think Eddie has run RBO, which makes me happy because as long as Eddie does not run RBO, I'm at least still in the top 40. So, because I'm sure he would bop me in the first run. So I'm cool with Eddie not touching RBO, even though it's my fave. Eddie does not opt for X Factors on Ridley. Does Eddie go for a 60 beam shot fight? I feel like yes, we might see supers. I could be wrong. So the last time I saw Eddie run any percent was in the last SGLIVE any percent tournament. So it has been a hot minute. Like, honestly, even though Spiffy is quite far behind Eddie right now, I really think that they've actually been running a very good race. Spiffy is not somebody that I'm used to seeing in a Super Metroid vanilla tournament. So to be able to make this top 32, like, you are absolutely incredible. This is by far the deepest field I think we've ever had in Super Metroid as far as like what the qualifying time was to get into this race. Really nice manip right there from SpiffyThomas, showing great knowledge of the game, manipping that Deskiga to be in the right place so that he could morph ball underneath and not take a hit. Not taking a hit in Wasteland is absolutely elite. It is so difficult to get through that room without taking a hit, and Spiffy did it very, very well. We're going to get a beautiful high 5 here in the Metal Pirates room. So Spiffy leaving and Eddie coming in. Oh, it is single elimination. Well, that's just brutal. So I actually, you know what? Being single elimination, it does not surprise me that a runner like Eddie would take more safeties than usual, because sometimes it really doesn't matter how good you are in Super Metroid. The game can just say no. You know, and I know some people would disagree with that, but like, you can just get a bad Ridley pattern or a bad Mother Brain pattern or get caught by Mother Brain catch up or like, you know, do something stupid like soft lock in a tube, you know, or just, I don't know, get grabbed by the baby and walk through the door and get soft locked. I don't know. This is just such a hard game, and you know what? I just lost my train of thought. I forgot exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. What are we watching? Okay, Spiffy's on Ridley. Eddie's. I need 5 seconds. Spiffy, be careful, please. Having the Varia suit here for Ridley actually helps out with this fight a lot because you take less damage from Ridley with Varia, and I think that having that was good for Spiffy because this fight is, well, he's flirting with survivability here, but very fortunately gets that grab from Ridley. No, it's just okay. So I'm in my 40s and I work full time and I have like a lot of major life moments happening here. So sometimes my thought pattern just goes, but I'm enjoying the heck out of this race. This is also, by the way, the second one I've done commentary for today, and you know, I'm by myself, so I have to fill air, but really great. Oh, Spiffy, you're giving me a heart attack. Spiffy survives Ridley. Thank goodness. I would be not only honored to race Eddie, but I would be terrified to race Eddie So I think Spiffy is doing a remarkable job, and I like this farm right here from Spiffy. It's not the fastest way you can do it, but just that extra energy, taking out that pirate, it doesn't cost you that much time, and it can actually allow Spiffy to get out of Laura Norfair a little faster. Unfortunately, taking Spike Shot there. Oh, come on. Let's do a good Wasteland. Nice D-boost. Oh, takes 2 hits coming out. That's not good. If I was Spiffy right now, I would honestly pick up Firefly. I'm not kidding. It does surprise me a little bit. Maybe felt confident enough with the escape that he did not need the Ridley tank. But then again, I don't know. It's kind of like if you feel like maybe he feels like he needs to save time here. All I know is that, let's see, with Varia and Gravity, I believe Key Hunters do 50 damage. So Spiffy has 1 shot to give. Like at this point, instead of farming here, I think it would have been like, I don't want to be too critical. Like, I don't know Spiffy. Maybe feels very confident. I think it would have just saved time to get the tank at Firefly and just basically just tank hits on the Key Hunters and get out of here. Right now in this situation, Spiffy has a very, very scary escape. Can take, let's see what we get here. All right, can take 2 hits and survive. So there's 1. There's 2, and I am scared. Wow, let's go. That right there is like, that is clench and that is clutch. But we're not out of this yet. Spiffy, please use a power bomb in this next room. Don't go for it. We even saw Susream do a power bomb right here. Okay, you've got guts. You made it, but like, why? At what cost? All right, so anybody not in the know, that was ridiculously absurd in like a good way. Spiffy is amazing at this game. But I don't know. I guess, I have run in, 15 tournaments. I've done a lot of tournaments, and I am not as good of an any percent runner as Spiffy right now. But I strong recommend, if you're going to be a tournament runner, you need backups for your backups for your backups. That generally save time a lot. Sometimes it's better to not go for it. But, props to Spiffy for surviving. Excellent work. And let's see what Eddie does with Dragon. We got a really good rain dance set up right here. Beautiful. We got all the X Factors hit. And we're looking at, a double X Factor Dragon. Okay, all right. And 2 in blue. Near textbook from Eddie with the spike suit grab. Resetting, yep. I like that quote, Spiffy reminding us that this is a horror game. And that's the other thing with Super Metroid. Like, no matter how good or bad your run is going, there's always something that can make it even worse. So even Eddie's not out of the woods yet. Like, Eddie still has to get through Metroids with enough firepower to, to get to Mother Brain too. Eddie still needs to fight Mother Brain. Eddie could decide to just go for grouping strats on Metroids and not freeze them at the right time and take a death. Even with 4 E-Tanks, Eddie's not out of the woods yet. So, like, again, I strongly recommend that if you're going up against a runner that the discrepancy of your PBs are what it is here, like, just survive. I've seen a lot of top runners just go home early because they didn't pick up, like, a 20-second safety. So I don't particularly like running Picard, and the only reason I don't like Picard, it's not as dangerous, so it's not as fun for me. But what Spiffy had to deal with right there, running Kraid after Ridley you get a chance to get more supers going into Meridia. You don't need to worry about farming. Unfortunately, Spiffy is really low on missiles and super missiles right now. You need enough missiles and super missiles to take out the turrets in Dragon's Lair, and also you have to. There's a green door. Not only is there a green door, but there's a Ghidorah door. Then you have 3 turrets. You also want to make sure you have a power bomb to do X factors, and then you do need some ammo to really get that 2 in blue. So even though Picard is safer than PRKD, I guess I'm just like so bad at ammo conservation. Beautiful full halfy, by the way, from Spiffy. I'm on a tangent right now, but you know, if you're just interested in routes and why do one route over another, there's a just plethora of reasons why one runner would select a route. You know, some runners select routes for safety. Some runners select routes because they like the way, you know, ammo conservation works out. You know, play the game how you want to play the game. Yeah, I am full happy that Spiffy got the full halfy. Full halfy, always better than the full nopey, otherwise known as the quarter halfy. I still like to call it the full nopey. I'm hoping the name catches on. I haven't heard anybody else use it yet. Oh, okay. We still got the 2 in blue. So nice cleanup there on Dragon from Spiffy, and the spike suit get, and the smile. GG Spiffy, excellent Dragon fight. Eddie getting ready to head down to the Metroid rooms. We're going to see a pause right here to re-equip Ice Beam and Spazer. This is going to save Eddie about, like, I don't know, like maybe 10 frames. It is a little bit faster to pause on an elevator and do your beams. Nice reverse full halfy from SpiffyThomas right there. Could be, Hero. I am not an expert at either commentary or playing the game. You know, I like this spark from Spiffy because why not? I've never seen it before. I think it's definitely slower, but you know, if I've learned anything from Susream, swag is important. Nice deboost get from Eddie right there. That's going to save a little bit of energy in this hopper room here. So I believe Eddie goes for Stachio Skip, which is, oh no, setting up for Boomer Skip. I don't really know what Eddie's doing. Eddie likes to play. Okay, Stachio Skip, here we go. Was that a 4 jump? I turned away. I was watching Spiffy. I mean, very, very excellent baby skip. Yes, resuppress. I am the suitless enjoyer. You know, before you follow me for all my really cool RBO streams where I get mad at the game and die a lot. No, I'm just kidding. Please make sure you follow these runners. Follow Eddie. Follow SpiffyThomas. I myself am hoping to toss SpiffyThomas a follow after this run. Just a runner that I haven't met yet. And, oh, almost got the blue bounce ball through the impediment there. Really, really. I think Spiffy looks to me like a runner that we want to like watch out for over the next couple years if he sticks with any percent. Really excellent handle on basic mechanics. Really excellent handle on race nerves for some of the saves we've seen. 20 and 4 is actually pretty sick numbers going into Turian. And Eddie has a 60-shot Mother Brain fight to survive. You know what, Hero? You'd be surprised. RBO is my comfort run. I actually feel more confident getting through an RBO run deathless than like literally any other category, as stupid as that sounds. But I recently have dropped some safeties, so I'm back to cussing and dying again. Oh, I know. Oh, you're telling Hero. Yeah. But back to our runners. Eddie taking onion rings to the face for funsies, it would appear. Mother Brain throwing out some really mean patterns. Sometimes Mother Brain will just stand there and do nothing for like 20 seconds. Other times Mother Brain is like, oh, you want meatballs mixed with onion rings? And by the way, I'm going to shoot you with my eye because, you know, why not? Typically, Mother Brain likes to do those patterns when you only have one hit to give. Eddie has at least a couple more hits to give. Spiffy doing a nice grouping strat in Metroid Room 1 while Eddie tries to get through Mother Brain and very successfully does so. Eddie, you could be aggressive taking those shots by Mother Brain, you know, just run into her. You know, I was second place in 98% suitless until I decided to just be amazing at the game and beat my time. I don't think I'm going to beat his time, but yeah, that's another really cool category to check out. We have a lot of awesome Super Metroid runners in chat. Really happy to have you here. I want to give shout outs to our organizers, Shiny Zenny, Sassy Zenny, and QZ. I know I did see Sassy in the chat, so thank you for helping us put on this amazing event. So, you know, follow everybody. Follow people in chat that are just watching the game because they're probably cool. They're here. I'm cool. I'm talking to you. I must be cool. I have the commentator credential, you know. If you don't like it, mute. TM. Eddie going with the sushi. I would love to have some sushi with you, Eddie, but I have to have it sans avocado because I am allergic to avocado, unfortunately. You know, thank you for showing your meal. If I'm not starving enough already, I'm upset that you get to eat and I don't because I have to calm your race. So, you know, 10 out of 10 performance for what you're eating, 2 out of 10 performance on timing. But, you know, we love you, Eddie. Yes, SGLIVE. Okay, I have been to SGLIVE the last 2 years in a row. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it this year, just like life stuff. I don't know. I might be able to come down and visit and say hi. But if you have never attended SGLIVE in person, go attend SGLIVE in person. I have met some really, all of my best friends in speedrunning I've got to meet live, or at least most of them. Super cool. It's a really great event. You get to do comms, you can run in the tournament, you get to meet Super Metroid runners. There's an awesome diner. It's very easy to access from Dulles Airport. A lot of really amazing people are involved in putting on that event, so it is worth me ignoring the runners right now to pimp out SGLIVE. Like, go to SGLIVE. You will not regret it. And volunteer too, because it's worth it. I can't hype it enough. So Spiffy doing a good job getting through Mother Brain 2 here. Eddie on the escape. You know, using Moonfall, I'm not a fan, but it does get you through some of these rooms faster. Eddie Meeman with a left spark gets what he deserves. Ooh, no. Oh. Spiffy takes the unfortunate catch-up shot. So that is GG. Anybody that doesn't know, they're like, why is Spiffy done shooting? Why are we just letting ourselves die? Once you go below 301, you cannot survive the Mother Brain fight because there is a scripted 300 damage Mother Brain Rainbow Beam. So rip to Spiffy, but GG to Spiffy. You know, excellent job going against a Titan, Eddie, 4401. You know, really sick time by any standard. And man, Spiffy, you put on a hell of a show. I'm really happy to have you on here. Let me go to the comms controls because I don't know if Jestro's still here or not. I'm gonna do the commentator controls here if I find it the right link. So all right, well, it looks like it's already been taken care of. So thank you, Jestro, or whoever was in there doing that. our runners should be able to get an interview or an invite to the interview. So we have Eddie, the winner of our match, with a 44:01. I do not know what the race time was, but Eddie, thanks for that. Thanks for that run, and thank you for making me super jealous with your sushi. Can you tell us what kind of roll do you have?
Yeah, so this is like a Korean style thing. It actually doesn't have raw fish. It's called kimbap. All right, so I'm going to educate all of you a little bit. It's called kimbap.
Please.
KIMBOP BAP kimbap. So kim means like seaweed, like the seaweed,
nori,
salty seaweed, nori, basically thing. Yeah, and then pop means rice. So you can eat it with just that and rice, and you know that's kimbap. But typically kimbap, you're gonna have some like veggies and some egg and some other stuff in there, and then sometimes some beef. So yeah, that's what we got in here, and quite good.
See, I don't feel any better now that you told me that. Now I'm just even more hungry, and you got to eat. I had to talk during your race. I have to wait till we're done. No, I'm just kidding. But no, Eddie, it's always a pleasure to watch you race. Now, you took more safeties than I'm used to seeing you when you play. Was that strictly because this is like a single limb situation? Because I'm used to seeing you run like no holds barred, like Seuss Ream style. Like, I don't care. I'm either going to die or get through this game fast. Like, what was your strategy going here?
Yeah, I mean, basically Super Metroid, we always say, you know, it's not over until you get on the ship, right? You know, if I really struggled in the early game and stuff like that, and Spiffy was like neck and neck with me, then I'm definitely going to drop a bunch of safeties. But you know, I did have the restream open, so I was watching. I kind of saw that I was ahead. It wouldn't have been, you know, like I'm not going to save a Mother Brain if I'm not ahead that much, right? Because it's just not really going to help too much. But I chose to go PKRD. You know, when I first started playing Super Metroid, I was watching Emmett a lot. So I wanted to basically kind of just like do his route. That's what I was more interested in doing. So I actually started with Fantoon first. I didn't do KPDR at the start, right? So
right,
I actually I did PKRD until I got a 44. So I'm very familiar, and you know, I know all the ins and outs. I know to pause on the elevator when if you miss Lava Spark, to save those frames and stuff like that. Small little differences in PKRD, but Spiffy's also a PKRD runner, so I'm happy to have run the same route.
Yeah, really nice to see it. And I do want to welcome Spiffy into the interview. Spiffy, I knew who you were just by scrolling through, like, you know, Super Metroid streamers, looking for streams to watch. I'm not very familiar with you, so I do apologize for that. But I am a fan just now from watching you run. You did a lot of elite level strats, like supering the Ice Beam door in Business Center on the way to high jump boots. You showed like really a lot of high profile top tech in your run. So I feel like you're definitely a runner to watch if this is a category you decide to stick with. Sorry you died, but absolutely a pleasure to watch you run. So welcome to the interview. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, so as you probably all saw, the massive shambles that I refer to as the moat and Fantoon. But yeah, I do honestly, any percent is one of those categories that I love to watch, but I honestly don't run very often, especially since Map Random became like a thing. And even before Map Random, as Eddie would tell you, like he and I and Aussie were like one of the original three who just kept running Map Random over and over and over. Like, so I kind of put 80% on the back burner for a while. Especially actually even before Map Random, Arcade. Before Eddie killed Arcade, we were doing Arcade a lot too. So
oh, come on, what was it, 600 rooms? That's easy. No problem.
Yeah, it's dead. But it was Arcade to Map Rando, and then I haven't touched any percent since probably about a year ago, honestly. So I'm honestly surprised I squeaked into this tournament. Oops, I forgot to turn off my alerts.
If you got into this tournament, you're absolutely incredible. But I want to warn you, if you want to stick with any percent, just stay away from RBO, because I lost complete interest in any percent as soon as I discovered that. So, but no, you guys put on a great show. I'll let you continue to talk.
Yep. Honestly, going back to your question that I completely ignored earlier, most of my strats I get from imitating Oates, world record holder. Obviously, he's got world record. I was like, you know what? You might as well just try and learn from the best, right? So I actually watched him do his grind like daily, and I was there when he got the world percent. It was a moment for sure. And I'm like, you know what? This guy is putting up so much effort. I think maybe I can do a small portion of half of a fraction of what he can do too. So I'm gonna give it a try, and that's what really got me in 100%. So a lot of my run is imitating Oates. That's what it really is.
I really
and Eddie,
feel
of course,
for
dude.
I feel for y'all who started with Phantom, because that's like, you know, hey, I don't ever want to finish a run starting to play this game. I just want to be embarrassed and brutalized like the entire time. I started with KPDR, so like I was finishing runs very fast. You know, when I switched to, you know, Phantom first runs, I'm like, okay, well, this is a different ball game altogether. So major props to both of you actually starting out with Phantom first runs. That's pretty sick.
I do want to say something about my opponent, Spiffy. So I feel like a lot of you, you know, in the chat and watching and stuff like that, probably at this point know who I am, because I feel like, you know, there's a lot of people in the community that are kind of like, I guess, like kind of got their name out there for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something like that, right? So you may not have heard of Spiffy. I know, Kev, you said you didn't really know about Spiffy, right? But
yeah,
I got to know Spiffy actually from the start of when he sort of like put his name out there, because when arcade was popular, Spiffy was one of the people grinding out arcade, right? So I remember I kind of put on a little show where Spiffy, you know, was going to go up against someone else in arcade and stuff like that. And I asked him, like, what kind of experience do you have? Because I've never heard of him before, right? And he said he had at the time, what did you have, a 47 or 48?
I think I had a 47, like 48, something like 47, 48.
Okay, yeah. So I remember he told me that. I'm like, I thought I knew like every runner that, you know, had like a sub 50 in any percent, right? So the fact that he exists is so cool to me. Like someone that was less integrated into the community and then actually had this killer time essentially, and then, you know, has kind of made a name for himself in arcade map rando, and, you know, now he's playing in the 90%. So, you know, there are people out there that have good times that, you know, probably didn't know too much about the competitive side of the community and stuff like that. And so it's really cool seeing him he's been streaming recently and streaming various Super Metroid things. But like, yeah, Spiffy's really good. And I was excited to race him today because I feel like when Spiffy first started streaming and stuff like that, I was there with him and stuff like that. We talked. So I was excited for this first matchup. We kind of back a little bit.
My absolute favorite thing about being in this community for the last 4 years is watching all the new and young runners come in and just absolutely kick my butt. I've been playing this game for 4 years, and I'm watching runners playing for 6 months, you know, 1 year, like, oh yeah, I got a 44. I'm like, wow, no. You guys are absolutely amazing. And the reason why I keep coming back to do commentary and I keep playing this game, it's not just the game. The game got me in, you know, the game got me in the gym. Like, y'all keep me here. I would not still be here if it wasn't for the camaraderie and just like watching runners, like, you know, how you met, how you interacted, or like, hey, I was in Oates' stream and I wanted to play this game and do this. Like, those origin stories are just so cool to me. And I think so many of us started from a similar place and we've all ended up in different places. Just really good to see how the scene kind of like morphs and stuff. I mean, it's really cool.
Yep.
I've always been kind of a dark horse. Like, as Eddie said, he's never heard of me since the arcade thing going on before. But, you know, to be honest, I have been playing this for somewhat close to like 10 years now. This is one of my childhood games. Of course, I only played as a hobby back then. But ever since Eddie, I consider him like as a streamer my mentor, because he's the one that got me into streaming. He's like, hey, you've been grinding. I saw your name on the leaderboards for arcade. Let's see what you got. And then he got my deets. And then, you know, from there on, we just kept streaming and kept playing. So
I was too old when
shout out to
Metroid
Eddie.
came out. When Super Metroid came out, I was not playing video games anymore because I was a teenager and I wanted to hang out with friends and drive and do other kinds of things. So like, I didn't even pick up Super Metroid till I was 39. I don't know why I said that.
The game is timeless.
It is timeless. You can pick it up at literally any age. Like I'm in my, let's say I'm I'm past 40, and I hope I can continue to play this game for at least another decade, whether I'm running it in the tournament or not.
Mm-hmm.
Why not 2 decades? Why not 3 decades? This game is timeless. Just like the TAS have shown us, there is no skill ceiling for an RTA run. There really isn't. They're going to keep pushing. It's going to be pushing for the next 30 years, I think.
I would absolutely hope so. I'm not seeing anything in the Discord saying we have to wrap it up, but you know, there is a schedule coming up. We have another Super Metroid race happening in about 4 hours, which is not featuring me, so hopefully I can watch it and just enjoy the movement and all that. But I want to thank both of you for putting on a really exciting show. I want to thank Chat for being really supportive, and you know, it's just been an incredible start to the tournament, and these SGLIVE any percent tournaments just keep getting better every year. So with that, I'm done. So Eddie and Spiffy, if you have anything left to say before we close up the show, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, Spiffy, it's always fun to race against you, whether it's Matt Brando, any percent, anything Super Metroid related. I enjoy, you know me. I enjoy the competition, so I had a good time. I love that you run PKRD. That's the route I've run like all the beginning of when I did Super Metroid. So yeah, I had a blast. It was a good time. GG.
All right, my turn. GG's to Eddie as well. And PKRD it's basically what I started with. I did 100% long time ago, but let's not talk about that tragic past. The here and now is that I do Map Rena and I do 80%, and PKRD has the safeties I need before I try and tackle PRKD. So I'm glad somebody, has done the route, has some tips and stuff like that, because we spoke privately about in DMs about how to get me faster, how to grind, got to sharpen that knife, just like you say. So Thank you very much for all the tips, for showing me how it's done, and just being a great streamer and mentor. Also, thanks for our commentary and crew. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, we will close down the show. So thank you for everybody, all your support and whatnot. Make sure you come back for Links Unlimited versus Hypo Satori at 11 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you sign up, get your tickets for SGLIVE in October in Herndon, Virginia. It's an incredible event. Make sure you follow our runners, our crew, and, continue to be a part of Super Metroid to support us. So we keep getting a lot of attendance at these tournament events. With that, I'm going to finally go get some dinner, and